it is Roberto Clemente Day in Major League Baseball, honoring a great man and a great ball player. And tonight we're set for Game 2, the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. Game 2 of a 4-game series. The Brewers winning last night, and thanks in large part to the night of Caleb Gendel, a 3-hit night last night. He homered once again. He drove in 3. He scored 3 runs, had a big night against Chicago last night. Now the Brewers turn the ball over to Marco Estrada, coming off a very good start against the St. Louis Cardinals. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight. And we're looking forward to this Game 2 of this 4-game series. We'll see if the Brewers can keep this roll going here against the Chicago Cubs. And let's dive into a little bit of what Marco Estrada does. And Rock talks all the time about his great changeup, and it is certainly an impact pitch for him.
Yeah, and that changeup has got him the reputation. You know, opposing hitters, they go up there and they look for that changeup, and because of that, you know, he attacks them early on in the count with fastballs. He gets ahead, which means he has to locate that fastball extremely well. You can see the straight change there. It's a pitch that he always has in his back pocket. And when you can look at what he did his last time out against the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cardinals have had a lot of success against Marco Estrada with the changeup. So what did he do? He didn't throw many. 8 changeups in his last start. He got the Cardinals out with fastballs, and that's kind of what he was able to do in that start against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, stay with us. More coming up. We will present a feature of Carlos Gomez, an all-star this year, narrated by Gorman Thomas. That's coming up. Hit hard to center field. Gomez on the run. Gomez out of room. Leaps. Did he get it? Yes, he did! Oh, my goodness! Carlos Gomez with the catch of the year.
It's easy to see why he signed a professional contract at the age of 16. Playing with unbridled passion, equipped with phenomenal physical tools. In 2013, Gogo became only the second Milwaukee Brewers center fielder named to the All-Star team. He is among the league leaders in triples, stolen bases, and outfield assists. His 4 home run robbing catches this season is twice as many as any other Major League outfielder. Always smiling, Gogo's enthusiasm for the game has made him a Brewer fan favorite. You never know what he's going to do next. Carlos Gomez, Milwaukee Brewer All-Star.
Leading the Brewers onto the field. 53 degrees tonight in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The roof is all closed up. And the Brewers trying to make it back-to-back wins against the Chicago Cubs. They have won 11 out of 16 this year against Dale Swaim's Cubs. Swaim in his second year, the former Brewer player, coach, and interim manager. And he has seen another losing season. The Cubs are 63 and 87. Last place in the division. The Brewers just ahead of them. Swaim's Piggly Wiggly batting order tonight looks like this, with Castro, Lake, and Rizzo at the top of the order. Sherholt, Sweeney, and Castillo in the middle. Donnie Murphy gets to start at third base with Darwin Barney and Jeff Samardzija rounding it out. Starting 9 against Marco Estrada tonight.
Well, 2 more starts after tonight's start from Marco Estrada. He's got a 6-4 record, a 429 earned run average in 18 starts. Very good his last time out against the Cardinals. Dominated the Cardinals lineup through 5 2/3. Did not allow a run. Overall, 1 run in 6 2/3 innings for Marco. He's been very good since his return from the disabled list. And the Menards Brewers defense, Gindel, Gomez, Aoki in the outfield. Caleb Gindel outstanding in last night's ball game. The offensive star for the Brewers. Ramirez, Segura, Jeanette, and Sean Halton gets a start at first base, with Jonathan Lucroy back behind home plate.
Lucroy got to start at first base yesterday. He does the catching, and Gindel, of course, a guy who has made the most of his opportunities in the big leagues. Chris Davis was getting a lot of that playing time when Logan Schaefer was injured, and then Chris Davis was injured with a wrist injury. So now Gindel getting the playing time, and had a big night last night, 3 for 3. He was a double away from the cycle in last night's game. There's Jeff Kellogg. He's the crew chief. He's the home plate umpire tonight. Toby Basner, Chad Fairchild, and Paul Schreiber, the base umpires. And we're all set to go here from Miller Park. Marco Estrada deals, and Castro launches one to deep right center. Gomez is there for the out. One pitch, one out. Castro gave it a ride.
You would figure that the Cubs are going to be attacking the fastball of Marco Estrada early. We talked about it when we came on the air. He likes to get ahead with the fastball and then get you with the changeup with 2 strikes. Most of his 2-strike pitches are changeups. So Castro jumping on the first pitch.
Here is Junior Lake with one away. Yeah, and Estrada's last start against St. Louis, Rock mentioned it in the open, but you know, he has this reputation of a changeup pitcher. The stats bear that out. About 1 of every 4 pitches that Estrada throws overall is a changeup, but about 1 out of every 3 is a changeup when he gets to 2 strikes. And with that in mind, and the history that especially Central Division teams have against Marco Estrada, he hardly threw any changeups against St. Louis and was very effective.
Yeah, and they kept looking for him, and Marco was very successful. 0-4 against the Cardinals, who had to do something different, and he did, and it was successful. Just the opposite for Marco against the Cubs. He's 4-0 against the Chicago Cubs in his career, including 2-0 this year.
Estrada took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. There's a good look at the curveball from Marco, which has been a very good pitch for him as well when he's on his game. Tried another one. Lake doesn't bite. Junior Lake elevated to the 2-hole, and he has swung the bat well in his first year in the big leagues. He has proven to be a free swinger, however. And that one is on the outside corner. Surprised him with a fastball. First strikeout for Marco Estrada. 2 up and 2 down here in the first.
Yeah, 6 starts since his return from the disabled list, and the command of the fastball has been very good for Marco. You can see that one right on the corner, and right at the knees, and he gets the call from Jeff Kellogg. Fastball command in and out, very important for Marco, not just the changeup.
Well, I like that move from Lucroy, catching that low fastball and then standing up, ready to throw the ball around the horn on the strikeout.
Yeah, trying to sell it. It worked.
Sometimes the art of framing for a catcher is more than just how he catches the baseball. Sometimes it's in the body language. Very athletic catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. Anthony Rizzo with a big hack. He is quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, those 2 pitches are a perfect example of what you're talking about with, being able to command both sides of the plate. And first pitch to Rizzo on the outside corner, then he's able to bust him inside on the inside corner. That's what he's been doing.
And the 0-2. There's the changeup. Rizzo didn't bite, and it's 1-2. Estrada spending 2 months on the disabled list. Started with a hamstring injury, and then it was a back problem. And he goes up the ladder. He strikes out Rizzo. 10 pitches for Marco Estrada, 7 of them for strikes. Good way to start the night. Couple of Ks on the board early. by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Ooh, getting dark early these days, isn't it? Sun has set under the lights on a Tuesday night at Miller Park. And Ron Renicky hoping his Brewers can continue their success against the Chicago Cubs. Renicky's Piggly Wiggly batting order with Nori Aoki leading off, Gene Segura, then Lucroy. You got the middle of Ramirez, Gomez, and Jeanette with Gindel, Halton, and Estrada rounding it out. And Jeff Samardzija on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. He started the year as the Cubs ace, and he got off to a great start, Rock, but things have slipped a little for him post All-Star break.
Yeah, he's been giving up a lot of runs, and his earned run average all the way up to about 4.5. And his last 3 starts have not been very good. He has given up 17 earned runs in his last 18 and the third innings. There's his numbers overall. 31st start. He's got a couple of complete games.
Aoki out to center field. Sweeney is there, and that's how the night begins for Samardzija.
Well, the defense for the Chicago Cubs, your Menards Cubs defense. They committed 3 errors in last night's ball game. Did not help their cause, and they lost to Milwaukee. Lake, Sweeney, Shearholtz in the outfield. Donnie Murphy gets a start over at third base. It was Valbuena last night. Castro, Barney, Rizzo, and Wellington Castillo, the fine young catcher behind home plate.
There's Donnie Murphy, the only change in the starting lineup tonight over at third base. Here is Gene Segura. He takes strike 1 from the hard throwing Samardzija. Segura batting .298, had a double and an RBI yesterday. 49 ribbies this year. He was 1 for 5 with that RBI double. Brewers put together a nice night last night. They did commit 2 errors, but they beat the Cubs 6-1, and they got a lot of production from the bottom of their batting order.
Yeah, all the runs scored from the bottom of the order, and all but one of the RBIs from the bottom half of the batting order for Ron Renicky. Always good to see. Caleb Gindel, the big hitting star last night.
Gindel with 3 hits, driving in 3 runs, homering in consecutive games. Segura drove in a run with a double, which was his 20th double of the season to go along with his 12 homers. Brewers scoring 6 runs on 8 hits last night. Cubs a run on 5 hits. Willie Peralta got the win last night, his 10th. Segura out to Barney, and the Gold Glover makes the play for out number 2.
Interesting that Jeff Samardzija, with that losing record 8-12, he's given up fewer hits than innings pitched, which is always a very good sign for a pitcher, and more strikeouts than innings pitched. And you wonder why he's got that big earned run average. He's got 72 walks. Walks have been a problem for him, and he's allowed 23 home runs.
That'll bring up Lucroy with 2 away. Lucroy comes in hitting .281. Took the collar last night. He was 0 for 3. Did draw a walk in last night's game. Very productive catcher for the Brewers this season, although last night he started at first base. Been keeping an eye on a franchise record for RBIs as a catcher. Lucroy's got a shot at it. He would really have to go and have a huge couple of weeks here. That ball's driven to right center. That ball is way back there. Shearholtz will run it down. Playing deep. He's able to make the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Samardzija. Off and running at Miller Park.
Presented by Chevrolet this Saturday against the Cardinals. Enjoy special giveaways and prizes, including a 2014 Chevy Cruze LS. Visit Brewers.com/fan appreciation for details.
Tuesday night here at Miller Park. Marco Estrada getting ready for his second inning of work. No score as we head to the second inning, and it'll be Nate Scherholtz, Ryan Sweeney, and Wellington Castillo. Well, Estrada with a couple of strikeouts in the first inning, just 10 pitches in the first, and 7 of the 10 strikes. Marco's one of those guys when he has his pitches working, and usually needs one, but if he has 2, that's a foul ball. Wow, that didn't miss by much. First base umpire Toby Basner right on the call.
Yeah, high changeup, and Scherholtz hooked it and just fouled down the first baseline. High changeup always gives a hitter a little bit extra time to get the barrel of the bat on it. Ideally, you want it down and away, but you don't want it up.
Ball and a strike, and there's the changeup. And it's fouled away. Lucroy didn't see it right away.
Got jammed big time. Ball wasn't up in the air that long, that high either. If he's looking for another baseball, doesn't realize that it's a foul pop and ends up in play.
Jeff Kellogg was about to give him one too. 1-2 on Scherholtz. And there's a swing and a miss at a fastball. So Estrada has struck out 3 in a row. I'm always fascinated by Estrada, and it looks like he's got everything working early. But he's a guy that can build up a lot of strikeouts without the great stuff. This is in our Head and Shoulders whiff.
And just the thought of the changeup in these hitters, I mean, makes his fastball much more effective. And that was right down the middle. Look how far behind that pitch at 90 miles an hour, 89, 91. That Scherholtz is there because he's thinking about changeup. Don't even have to throw it, and it's an effective pitch for him.
Working quickly, facing Ryan Sweeney, who takes a strike. Sweeney had a hit last night, 1 out of 3. And back in center field. A little half swing, pop up. Ramirez with room. He's got it for the out.
You might think he's throwing 98 miles an hour with that fastball, don't you? It's amazing. I mean, look at the swings that these guys are taking. Of course, it's early on. It's all about the changeup and the effect that that pitch has. And you notice that Marco is most effective with his fastballs up around the belt. Normally, when you throw 90, 91, you don't want to be up there. But, you know, the high fastball, very good pitch when hitters are behind. Hitters are behind in the count and behind the pacing. They're a little bit behind the pitch, jamming themselves.
And we saw Rizzo strike out on the high fastball that was at 90. And the release point always the same. Estrada works hard at trying to make his fastball look like his changeup. All comes out of the same spot with the same rotation.
Everything's the same. It just doesn't get to home plate in the same amount of time. That's what a changeup does. Changeups are called change of pace.
And such a great pitch. Always encouraging youth players to, especially young pitchers who you don't want throwing breaking balls just yet, to learn how to throw that changeup. There's a hot one over to Ramirez. He bobbles, long throw, and out at first. Aramis Ramirez knocked it down, didn't panic, and able to make the play to get Wellington Castillo. 1-2-3 inning for Estrada. Good play by Ramirez. And the former Cub, Aramis Ramirez, will lead off. Brewers have had a good homestand so far. They took 2 out of 3 from the Reds to start it, and won last night. This is a 4-game series with the Cubs. It'll wrap up Thursday afternoon, and then the Cardinals come to town. Back in a pennant race as Ramirez rifles one in the gap at right center. And that's going to hit that angled wall out there, and an easy double for Aramis Ramirez. Now he's thinking about third. He's on his way. And a bad throw from center field. Ramirez taking advantage of the Cubs outfield play.
Yeah, look at it be a bit of a bobble out there. For some reason, Sweeney just couldn't get it back in time. Then he made a bad throw, and good heads-up base running by Aramis Ramirez to get to third base. Airmailed the first cutoff man right after he had a bobble out into right center field. Ramirez thinking he's going to get a double, keeping his eye on what's going on, and then just continues to third base.
That'll be a double and an error on the center fielder Sweeney. Cubs commit their 4th error of the series, had 3 last night. And it puts a runner at third with nobody out. Here is Gomez. Gomez having a nice homestand so far. 6 for 13 at the plate, and 6 runs batted in. Had a double last night.
Well, you saw Aramis Ramirez, his trek around the bases, and this is why. Sweeney gets it out there in the gap. That angled wall, drops it the first time, has a tough time picking it up, and Ramirez recognizing that and able to get into third base.
Stepped on his own glove, knocked it right off into center field. Sweeney going back. This will be plenty deep to get Ramirez home, and he'll walk in. So good execution by Gomez, and the Brewers are on the board first tonight. Sac fly and an RBI for Carlos Gomez.
A good hustle by Ramos Ramirez and a good at-bat by Gomez, not trying to do too much with it, taking it into center field, and really taking a 1-0 lead.
Brewers were able to cash in on the Cubs errors yesterday, and they do so again tonight. That'll bring up Scooter Gennett now with one away. Bases empty. Samardzija back in the windup. And on the first pitch, a line drive to Lake for out number 2 as we check in with Sophia. How you doing tonight, Sophia?
Great tonight, BA. And the sports show you've been waiting for is here. Introducing Crowd Goes Wild with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists that will talk about things you won't hear on other shows. Sports talk just got a lot more colorful. Crowd Goes Wild weekdays at 4 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1. BA?
All right, thanks, Sophia. And 2 gone here in the second inning. Caleb Gendel now got a nice hand as he was announced at the plate. Had a big night last night. 3 hits and needed one more at bat to give himself a chance at a cycle. Brewers did not bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, so that at bat never came.
And taking full advantage of the opportunity with Chris Davis sitting it out, with that wrist injury, the hand injury. He was coming along nicely. Ron Renneke saying he may very well be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Two balls and a strike on Gendel. Second triple of the year for Gendel last night, and it came on a 3-0 pitch. You like a hitter who's confident enough to swing away on 3-0.
And you like a manager that's confident enough in a young hitter to be able to give him the green light on 3-0.
It's at a 3-1 count here, and that is outside, ball 4. So Gendel is aboard. First walk issued by Samardzija. His command has been in question here in the second half of the season.
We had 3rd most walks in the National League amongst pitchers this year, giving up the 6th most home runs, a lot of earned runs, 2nd most in the league. And he started out the season extremely well, one of the ERA leaders early on. And things have somewhat unraveled for Jeff Samardzija, and particularly in his last 3 starts.
Strike 2, Sean Halton.
Yeah, perhaps the innings load is catching up to him. 194 2/3 tonight, and 2 more starts, so he'll be well over 200 innings.
Ball and a strike on Halton. First trip to the plate for Halton since his big moment on Sunday, his best moment as a big leaguer thus far, and a walk-off home run against Cincinnati. And that ball hit him. Samardzija drills Halton. Got the pitcher coming up. That's a slightly suspect, but Samardzija will put Halton aboard, and Marco Estrada at the plate here with 2 away.
That'd be a pretty good brawl right there between the 2 of those big guys, Samardzija and Halton.
Not that we're encouraging that, just saying it might be something entertaining.
It might be something I might want to see at some point, but not tonight.
Sure, just got away from him. So now 2 on with 2 away. Marco hitting 185 this season. But yes, they keep numbers with pitchers at the plate with runners in scoring position. And Marco Estrada is hitting 333. He's slightly late on that fastball as he fouls it away. That's his spot over there, though.
Yeah, he's a very good opposite field hitter.
It's a good call. They could put every fielder on the left side over on the right. That's his spot, right over the first baseman's head. 0-2. And Marco takes a ball. Yeah, we like to call it effectively late. Keeps the Brewers dugout on their toes on most nights. And down he goes. Samardzija threw him a wrinkle, paying his respects to Marco Estrada. Inning over. Brewers on the board. The first run. Brewers on the board first tonight. And Rock talking about Marco Estrada and the changeup so far tonight, and a good illustration of what the Cubs hitters will deal with.
Yeah, superimposing two pitches. You know, the left-handed hitter is going to get the fastball. The right-handed hitter is going to get the changeup. You see the release point identical for both pitches, but watch what happens to the baseballs as they come in. Look at the difference in the time frame where the fastball is and where the changeup is, and that's why that pitch is so effective. As long as the release point is identical, hitter really can't pick it up. You know, there's the changeup. The fastball's in the hitting zone, and that is a very effective pitch for Marco Estrada. The only thing different, the grip, and the fact that the changeup takes a lot longer to get to the hitting zone.
Saw Castillo foul that pitch off. He was so far ahead of it, and even though the fastball to the left-handed batter, Sweeney, was at 90 miles an hour, he was behind him.
That's a big difference when you're up there at the plate, when you have that much of a difference in the same period of time, a fastball and then a changeup, and the changeup takes so much longer to get to home plate. That's why it's such an effective pitch. Everybody always out in front, and when you're looking for that pitch, just think about the effectiveness of the fastball. When you're expecting a pitch to come at you very slow and then it comes fast, very difficult to make that adjustment.
Well, that's a great illustration of when the pitch looks exactly the same and the difference as it gets to the plate.
That's good work in the truck. Very creative way to show that.
Such good work, we're going to buy him food and drink tonight, I think. Shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe next time. We'll pick you guys up later.
They work better hungry. We don't.
One gone for Darwin Barney. And a strike to Barney.
This is an example of things that you can do when you show up to the ballpark at noon, right?
Exactly.
They get here early.
The little game prep.
Kind of waltz in here at about 4 o'clock. They've already had 4 hours in.
Speaking of noon, we were here earlier today, had a sponsor luncheon today up in the Sky Lounge. Great to connect with all the Brewers sponsors. Rick Schlesinger and Ron Renicky, Doug Melvin answering questions. In the air to left, pretty well hit. And at the fence is Gindel, makes the play for the out.
Pulled the string on Darwin Barney and just able to keep it in the ballpark. A little bit down on the end with the changeup. He gets him a little bit on the handle with the fastball, and that's what you call rocking the boat. You know, velocity, take a little off, add a little bit. Disrupt timing. That's what pitching is all about.
And here is Jeff Samardzija with 2 away. Samardzija, a major college wide receiver at Notre Dame, one of the best in the country as well. And as you can imagine, he runs well. So anything hit on the ground, you've got to make sure you pay attention and get a throw over to first. See the Charter Cable high-speed pitch velocities of these two tonight. Samardzija finished his Notre Dame football career as the all-time leader in receptions and receiving touchdowns. He was a first-team All-America back in 2006. Had NFL aspirations, but the Cubs signed him to a major league contract, got a multi-year major league deal, convinced him to sign to play baseball, and he's emerged as a starter they think will be a frontline starter one day. And Estrada makes it look easy. First time through the batting order. 9 up, 9 down, 4 strikeouts.
Memorable moments on this last homestand. Sean Halton with the walk-off home run Sunday, and then Caleb Gindel last night, a double away from the cycle. So our AT&T Twitter poll is asking fans which Brewers rookie has made the biggest impact. Tweet us at FS Wisconsin. Scooter Jeanette, batting .383 in his last 36 games. Caleb Gindel, we told you what he did yesterday. 3 RBI night for him last night. Sean Halton, that walk-off home run, he's hitting 3 for 9. And Chris Davis, limited by that wrist injury, but he's put up good numbers in the absence of Ryan Braun with 9 home runs. So BA, plenty of silver linings there. These guys are taking advantage of their opportunities.
Absolutely. And Caleb Gindel with a big moment last night, and of course got the chance to deliver 3 hits. He has a walk-off home run this year as well. Had that in extra innings. Sean Halton joined that group. What was the dousing last night, Sophia? Some combination of Gatorade? Was there some baby powder involved?
Well, Gomez had to switch it up. He went with the Gatorade for Sean Halton, and then last night it was baby powder for Caleb Gindel, which is what they did for Gindel when he hit his walk-off home run. So I don't know why Gindel is the baby powder target, but it's a trend, I guess.
Man, of all the things to get doused with, wow, that's excessive. That's borderline bowling right there by Carlos Gomez.
You should give him a pin.
Aoki slices one. Lake hadn't played that way, and he'll run out of room. So you've seen all that the Brewers have to offer for post-game celebrations. What would be your choice to get hit with? We've got the shaving cream pie. We've got the baby powder, Gatorade, water cooler, the colored Gatorade with the water cooler.
Right.
Any preference?
None of them really excite me. I mean, if I say one or the other, then pretty good chance it might happen at some point. What is that? What would you prefer?
I think I'd probably end up with.
I have access to all of it.
Little tapper, and Castillo had no chance. Samardzich's upset. A little miscommunication, but I don't think either one of them are going to have a play on Aoki. And Nori is aboard. That'll be the second hit for Milwaukee. It's a leadoff infield single.
Swinging bunt. This one chopped right off the plate. And Samardzich looked like he might have had a play on it. He gives it to Castillo, who really didn't have much of a play. I mean, you're right. I think would have been a tough play for everybody because Aoki, as he's swinging the bat, is on his way to first base. And an infield hit for Nori. And yet another infield hit for the Brewers.
The major league leaders in that category, infield hits. That snaps it 0 for 13 for Aoki.
You were saying you would prefer what?
I think I'd go with the straight water out of the Gatorade cooler.
We can arrange that.
So the good news of all this year is that Sophia, the players have bought Sophia probably 10 pair of new shoes because of it, because they keep ruining her footwear. I'm not sure they're doing that for Telly.
That's nice of them.
But I think they feel bad when Sophia gets some of the residual. Oh, nice play, Samardzich, and he throws one high. Castro has to only guarantee the out at second base on that high throw.
That's still another defensive mistake. There's been 2 already in this inning. A good throw by Samardzich. You figure they're going to be able to turn the double play, but the high throw, Castro was forced to grab it and retouch the bag over at second base, eliminating any chance for a double play. Of course, doubling up Segura is a tough thing to do, but they get the lead out.
Can't assume a double play, so no error charged. But a good throw, especially with Castro's arm. The Cubs would have had a shot at turning 2. One gone for Lucroy with Segura at first.
Actually, I'm not a big fan of any dousing of any kind.
Yeah, but that's not an option. That wasn't part of the question.
Yeah. I think at some point, it's a little bit redundant.
Move on.
Right.
You're thinking we should probably get to another level.
Something creative.
There's a strike.
I'm for eliminating dousing.
Just be professional, do the interview,
and allow the interview to take place. And you save your organization a few bucks. Sophia's shoes, they don't look real cheap. I mean, they're expensive.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing.
It's got like 30 or 40 pair, but still in all, it's a lot of money.
Now, I think Sophia prefers the baby powder. That's probably the safest for a sideline reporter. Is that correct, Sophia?
Yes, I think the baby powder is the least harmful. I have to say the red Gatorade was not fun on Sunday. My gray shoes are now dyed a little splash of red.
Yeah,
so
a little pink.
Yeah, but we were joking around, Maldonado and Gomez, the ones that had the Gatorade cooler, that they would each split the pair of shoes, so one would buy one. So we'll see if that actually turns out.
I think Gomez can afford both. Segura takes off, and the throw to second is a good one, and out at second base. Castillo rifles one to the bag, and Segura might have had his hand stepped on.
That throw literally right on the money. Look at this throw by Castillo. Right on the bag and catches Segura. I think the baseball and the webbing got him. Maybe jammed a finger, not sure, but didn't get stepped on. But that was a hard tag down at second base.
It was a very nice play by Barney. We talk a lot about middle infielders and how they take the throws. And it is amazing that you watch Major League infielders. A lot of them take the throws up in front and then bring the glove back, and that usually costs them some outs along the way. Barney took it right on the bag and put a perfect tag down on Segura.
That ball from catcher or from an outfielder, an infielder gets there a lot quicker than you can reach for it and bring it back. A lot quicker.
Well, there's the step right there on the right hand. Not too bad.
No, just kind of a glancing blow. Yep, that's what got him.
Just a flesh wound. I always wondered if middle infielders or infielders in general scout whether base runners slide head first or feet first. Does Darwin Barney know that Segura always slides head first?
Who slides feet first anymore? Big dudes, maybe.
Good point.
Everybody's head first. I will say one thing. They didn't slide head first too often at home plate back in the old days.
Lucroy swings and misses. Down it goes on strikes.
Eat some shin guard. That's the last time they do that.
Back in the old days. Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Tuesday night, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Temperatures in the low 50s tonight. Starting to feel like fall here in the upper Midwest. Marco Estrada retiring the side in order, first time through the batting order. 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts, the Cubs. And we head to the fourth now with Starlin Castro leading off. He'll be followed by Junior Lake, then Anthony Rizzo. Top of the order for Chicago. Castro swung at the first pitch in the first inning to get the game started. He flew out to deep right center. And that one's hit hard back up the middle, a base hit. Clean single for Castro.
He doesn't mess around, does he? I mean, he swung on the first pitch, his first at bat, and fly deep to center, and picking on the first pitch here in the fourth and lining it for a base hit. Both of them fastballs. Both times Marco tried to get ahead. and put one right down the middle.
So a leadoff single for the Cubs, and Junior Lake will bat.
Actually, that was a 1-0 pitch, not the first pitch.
Lake struck out looking in the first inning. And this is where things begin to change a little bit for Marco Estrada. When he has base runners on behind him, he works from the stretch. He'll work quickly when he's from the windup. A lot of pitchers are that way. But Marco will slow the pace down from the stretch.
Well, a lot more to think about when you got men on base. You got to hold Castro very close. He will steal a base, so that's part of the reason why you slow down a little bit.
Marco very much a rhythm pitcher, maybe more than any other of the Brewers starters, and that rhythm is disrupted when you have base runners behind you. Well, there's a good off-speed pitch, and Lake out in front. He was ready to hit that one a mile.
And change up right down the center of the plate, but down around the knees. That's where you want it. You don't want that change up upstairs. That's the last place you want it.
Back to the changeup. 2-1 the count on Lake. There goes the runner and a swing and a miss. Lucroy's throw to second, and the tag is not in time.
Well, he'll throw a little bit high. I'll tell you, Castro not running all that well. He was taking a while to get down there. Had a decent jump, but to throw a little bit high, had it been right on the bag, they would have had him. Very small lead, a decent jump, and a good throw, and Castro is going to be an out at second base.
It looked like he overslid the bag too. If Jeanette keeps the tag on him, he's got a chance at an out. We'll see if he rolled his ankle. Looks like he's a little gimpy out there at second base as Lake fouls it back. So he missed the bag with his lead foot, and there's the tag, and they might have had him out.
Just maybe glanced the edge of it with the heel and the lead foot, and you know, ball beats, you're going to be out most of the time, but if you beat the baseball, you're going to be safe most of the time. Only the 9th stolen base for Castro this year. Surprising.
And it looks like he's limping a little bit. 2-2, a swing and a miss. He struck him out again. Got him with a fastball. The 5th strikeout for Marco Estrada.
And picks up in the strike zone. Junior Lake takes a healthy hack, even with 2 strikes, up around the belt, and looking to hit that one into Lake Michigan. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Old Town Bar and Restaurant in Superior. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game in April of May of 2014. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
One gone with a runner at second, and Anthony Rizzo at the plate. Brewers put a run on the board in the second inning. Cubs threatening to tie it here. Rizzo with 22 home runs. Marco struck him out in the first. He got him swinging to end the inning. Struck him out on a high fastball. That one's down, and it's lined to Ramirez. He'll slap the tag on Castro to end the inning. Oh, another mistake by the Cubs, this time on the base paths. Castro off the bag, and that was an easy double play to end it. The Brewers 2013 nominee for the prestigious Roberto Clemente Award presented by Chevrolet. Today marks the 12th annual Roberto Clemente Day across Major League Baseball, established to honor Clemente's legacy and to officially recognize a local club nominee. Lucroy is one of the 30 club finalists for the annual award, which recognizes a player who best represents the game of baseball through contributions on and off the field. Congratulations to Jonathan Lucroy. And fans are encouraged to participate in the process of selecting the national award recipient. Just go to ChevyBaseball.com to vote. ChevyBaseball.com. Ramos Ramirez will lead off in our Jimmy John's Freaky Fast delivery.
And I really can't imagine what Starlin Castro was thinking. A line drive hit right in front of him. I mean, not only does he not freeze, but he starts taking off to third base. You wonder what's going through the head of some of these base runners. That's just horrible base running.
Cubs have had a few blunders tonight. Committed an error that led to the run. Castro steals second base, but then doesn't get back to the bag on the line drive. There was a bit of a shift on, but that's no excuse. Castro certainly, with the defenders right in front of him, should certainly see that.
Anytime a baseball is hit in front of you, whether it's on the ground or in the air, you don't go toward third base until it's in the outfield. Doesn't matter if it's in the air or not. That's just basic base running 101. You learn that in high school. That's a good pitch by Samardzija. That split-fingered fastball. He's got a good one when he gets ahead in the count. A good strikeout pitch.
Well, we talk about Marco Estrada's changeup, and that splitter by Samardzija essentially used as a change of pace to complement his 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Gomez drove in the lone run of the game, had an RBI on a sac fly back in the second inning, and establishes a new career best with every run batted in. He is now at 64 RBIs. Had a 59 RBI season with the Twins back in 08 as his top mark until this season. He's having a career year in a lot of categories.
Nice piece on him that we put on during the Open tonight. Narrated by Gorman Thomas. Kind of says it all about the year that Gomez has put together.
One center fielder to another. There's a swing and a miss. Samardzija strikes him out with a big fastball, and 3 consecutive Ks. 4th strikeout for Samardzija as we send it down to Sophia.
Brian, fans can come on out to Miller Park as your Milwaukee Brewers host the St. Louis Cardinals Friday through Sunday. For tickets, you can call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com. And I caught up with Scooter Gennett before today's game and talked about his success at the plate. He really struggled his first time up, but lately, of course, putting up those big numbers. He said it's more of a mental adjustment, just staying within himself, maintaining a consistent approach, and he said he knows he needs to continue to make those adjustments as pitchers see him, several times. And he said with all the video, they're going to start to exploit him and exploit what he's doing at the plate. So he's just trying to maintain a consistent approach up there and continue with that battle of adjustments.
Well, and I give Ron Renicky credit as well, as Gennett hits one sharply right to Barney. Renicky making sure he gets the best matchups for Gennett, and he's responded well. 3 up, 3 down for Samardzija in the 4th. It's 1-0 Brewers.
Compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Join hosts Bill Shirk and Laura Schera as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due north outdoors Thursday at 10:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And Ron Renneke said no doubt that changeup is central to Marco's success, and he pointed to how he used it in his last 2 starts. In Pittsburgh, he used the changeup to get a number of strikeouts, but in his last start against St. Louis, when he was 10 outs away from a no-hitter, he was showing the changeup, but then getting a lot of his outs with the fastball. So it's just varying those 2 pitches and how he uses that changeup, guys.
Yeah, Marco changing up his game plan against the St. Louis Cardinals. That was the one team that he struggled the most with across the major leagues. And decided, why not? Let's mix it up a little. And Brewers didn't win the game, but Estrada certainly pitched well enough to win that ball game.
Yeah, you have to be smart enough and talented enough to mix up your game plan a little bit. And Lucroy, Estrada did that. When you consider the St. Louis Cardinals and their offense, they're a very disciplined ball club. They're not trying to hit home runs. They stay on the baseball, and because of that, they're effective against off-speed pitches, particularly late in the count. Now you take a different club, the Cubs, for instance, more of a free swinging club, and that changeup all of a sudden becomes very effective because they're going to be out in front. So you have to adjust your game plan based on who you're pitching against that particular day.
Lucroy assertive with that call of a fastball, and that got in on the hands of Scherholtz. Scooter Gennett makes the call and the catch for out number 1. Our text question tonight, courtesy of Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. Tyler wants to know, what is the hardest part about throwing a changeup?
And not slowing down your delivery. You have to use the same delivery that you use for all of your pitches. If you slow your arm down or you slow your cadence down just a little bit, that's going to tip off that pitch. And it doesn't have to be that much. I mean, you slow that arm down just a little bit, barely visible to the naked eye, and hitters are going to pick that up.
And isn't it a little bit counterintuitive to stand on the mound staring down a major league hitter and say, I'm going to throw something that's not my best?
What's counterintuitive? What is that?
Well, like your natural instincts would say, I'm going to throw this as hard as I can.
Say that next time.
Clean it up for you.
But you're right.
See, now people out there think I'm always picking on you. That you picked on yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm allowed to do that.
I don't pick on you.
Counterintuitive. I like that word.
Yeah. It's the opposite of intuitive.
But you're right. I mean, sometimes when you're in the toughest jams and you've got men on base and you've got a big hitter up there, the last thing you think to do to be effective is to take a little bit off. I mean, your instinct is to throw it as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what hitters are counting on.
In the air to center. That sounded like it was hit well. Gomez at the wall. He's right there to make the play. And Marco says, my fault on that location. Stayed in the ballpark, though. Sweeney is out.
Who says you pick on?
I hear it all the time.
Really?
Everywhere I go, say, how come you're always picking on Bill?
That's our bit. That's our thing. Scherholtz able to, or I should say Sweeney, just a little bit down in the trademark, enough to keep that ball in the ballpark.
Good look. Gomez was in that posture, wasn't he? Ready to
walk in the park.
Make the leap.
Walk in the park for Gogo.
You're talking about that Gorman Thomas piece that we had earlier, a little feature on Gomez, and all of those great catches, the home run saving catches. He's had 5 of them this year. He started keeping records of such things 10 years ago, and Gomez by far and away leading in that category as Castillo with a base hit back up the middle, the second Cubs hit. It's a 2-out single. And it starts to get you thinking about Gomez not just saving those particular runs, but then all of the other runs that he saves. And defensive metrics is an imperfect science right now, but there are some metrics out there that do measure runs saved, and you know, Gomez, I believe the number was at 32 the last I saw. 32 runs saved as a center fielder. I know Ron Renneke doesn't dive into the specific numbers, but he does with his eyes. Like, he'll make notations on his card on how many runs he feels like it saves, even if it's one level or two levels after. So, for example, if Gomez prevents a guy from going to second, and then that guy doesn't end up scoring, then he would count that as a run saved.
Well, there's no question that, I mean, there's nobody in all of baseball playing a better outfield than Carlos Gomez this year. And we're not just talking about the game-saving catches, the game-saving, you know, pulling back home runs, crashing up against the wall. We're talking about throws like this. I mean, Carlos Gomez can beat you and help you win games defensively in a lot of different ways, getting into the gap, going back on balls, robbing home runs, making throws to home plate and then to the bases. And that, to me, is a Gold Glover. I mean, there's nobody in baseball any better than Carlos Gomez.
Brewers haven't had a Gold Glove player since Robin Yount in '82. And Gomez certainly in a position to win his first, and certainly deserving of that award. Now, that award is voted on by the managers and the coaches around baseball. Oh, 2 the count with 2 away. Donnie Murphy fouls it back.
Now, you can basically count on one hand the outfielders in the major league, center fielders with a throwing arm like Carlos Gomez. It just doesn't exist. You know, the combination of the speed and the throwing arm is not something that you see all that often.
Estrada has Murphy 0-2, and he got him right on the edge. Marcos strikes out Murphy to end the inning. Gives up his second hit, but right on the corner for a called strike 3. Scored a run in the second inning. Ramirez scored that run, and Aramis Ramirez is on our Powerball home run leaderboard tonight, and we're talking about the last month. It's September 17th, so this is since August 17th, and Ramirez with 5 home runs coming back from the disabled list. Chris Davis has 4, Gendel with 4, and Gendel's hit home runs in each of the last 2 games, and it'll be Gendel to lead off. Samardzija back on the mound. First pitch breaking ball to Gendel. Both pitchers racking up a bunch of strikeouts. Marco Estrada has 6. Samardzija has 4. And the pitchers who go about their business in much different ways. Popped him up, shallow left. Junior Lake will make the call, and he's got it for out number 1.
Yeah, Jeff Samardzija with the big fastball. He jammed Gindel that time, and just the thought, particularly with 2 strikes of that split-fingered fastball, makes his fastball even more effective. So Samardzija uses the splitter. Marco Estrada the changeup.
So here is Sean Halton. Halton walked his last time up. Hit a walk-off home run on Sunday and on the bench Monday. Tough league.
Yes, it is.
Halton in an 0-2 count. Samardzija issued back-to-back walks in the second inning. Actually, a walk and a hit batter. Yeah, this was Halton from Sunday. Zach Duke was allowed to pitch to Sean Halton. He threw him a changeup, and Halton hit it out. First big league walk-off home run for Sean Halton. What a great moment for him. And Sophia, that was one of those moments that he'll never forget, I'm sure.
It was, and he said, it's definitely the biggest hit of his career, but he said, he hadn't hit a walk-off home run since his days in Brevard in 2010, and he paused and said, man, that feels like a long time ago. But he compared it also to his first at-bat, a pinch-hit single off of Matt Garza in June, and he thought that moment was almost just as memorable as the walk-off home run because Garza's a good friend of his. They're both from Fresno, California. They work out together, but he said those two are 1A and 1B in terms of highlights of the season.
Yeah, 2 firsts, right, for Halton, who strikes out. The 5th K for Samardzija. Now, that was when Garza was a Cub. And a guy he knows well to get that first base hit. By the way, for Jeff Samardzija, that was his 200th strikeout this season. First time in his career he's had a 200K season. Joins Adam Wainwright, Cliff Lee, and Clayton Kershaw with 200Ks this year. How about Cliff Lee's night last night? 14 strikeouts from the mound. He drove in 4 runs at the plate. That's a good day at the office.
Yeah, amazing, huh?
Phillies beat the Marlins last night. We're keeping an eye on the scoreboard. There's a lot of ball games tonight with pennant race implications.
And Boston, Baltimore, they're tied at 2 in the 7th inning.
Chris Davis is homered. Yeah, number 51.
51 on the season. How about that? Hit it off Ryan Dempster,
the former Cub. That kind of started the wave of trading for Chicago last year. Cubs traded him to the Rangers. Washington and Atlanta, they were postponed yesterday. That tragic shooting at the Navy Yard, which is very near Nationals Park. So appropriately, they postponed the game yesterday, but they played a doubleheader today. And the Washington is close to sweeping that doubleheader. They had a major comeback in game 1. Down 5-3 in the 9th with Kimbrel on the mound. Washington came back to win 6-5. An error by Andrelton Simmons led to the winning run. I guess you can call that a walk-off error.
Walk off anything that scores a run, right?
So the Nationals beat the Braves 6-5 in the opener, and they lead 4-0. Top of the 9th inning in game 2.
Well, Washington is red hot right now. They've won 8 of the last 10. That's before today's games. Might be a little bit too little too late for the Nationals.
And what was interesting about that doubleheader, Atlanta's magic number to clinch the division is 4 over Washington. So a doubleheader sweep by the Braves, they could have been the first to clinch a division. They had champagne ready, and the Nationals chance to turn the tables on them. There's a swing and a miss, and down goes Estrada. 6 Ks for each pitcher through the first 5 innings. Brewers lead 1-0. Lead hold up. That run came back in the second inning. Folks are having some fun here tonight. Hey, by the way, Phantom Cam is returning to Milwaukee, and we appreciate that. We'll have it on Friday and Saturday, starting that series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Some of the most impressive images, and really taking you inside the game. Even makes the spraying of water look fun. Phantom Cam's coming Friday. Getting to see the game in a whole new way. That is 5,000 frames per second.
Good teaching tool, that camera. You can see a lot of things that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to see on your television screen, and break down swings and deliveries and ground balls and all kinds of things that these big leaguers do that they really can't see with their naked eye.
See the numbers on Estrada. 5 shutout innings. He's given up just 2 hits, both singles. Both hit well. Castro and Castillo with the 2 hits tonight for the Cubs. And Marco keeps pouring in the strikes. Gets ahead of Darwin Barney. 58 pitches for Estrada, 39 of them for strikes. Good ratio. 0-2. Well, we've got some instructional pieces lined up. We had a chance to visit with Logan Schaefer, and he's going to break down his swing. That'll be Friday. Rick Kranitz and Ron Renicky are going to do some instructional pieces for us as well, with position players defensively with Renicky and footwork, and then Rick Kranitz is going to break down some of the mechanics of pitching. So we're looking forward to that. These guys are great teachers, these coaches, and they got a lot of pressure on them. You don't get to see a lot of their actual teaching during the game broadcast because they're in the middle of the game and the game plan.
Easiest part of the day for coaches and managers is game time, 7:10. That's when it's up to the players. The coaches and managers do all their work before the game.
Yeah, all those hours before, some arriving at 12:30, 1 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game, and players on the field maybe 2:30 on occasion. And a lot of teaching by all these coaches, especially with a team like the Brewers with 12 rookies.
And coaching has changed so much over the years. I mean, with all the tools that coaches have in organizations, scouting reports, video, and spray charts. It's a lot of work to be done.
One and two to Barney. Count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. There is Ed Cedar and Garth Orge. Both are base coaches, and Ed handles the outfielders. Orge handles the infielders on the defensive side. In the air to left, looks playable for Gendel. No problem for out number 1 for Marco Estrada. And there's the hardest working guy on the staff, the pitching coach. He spends a lot of time inside with the video and the scouting report, then outside with side sessions and mechanical fixes with his pitchers.
You see Rick Kranitz and the starting pitcher and the catcher of the day in the conference room in the clubhouse talking about how they want to attack each and every hitter. He has to do it every single day because every pitcher is different.
Samardzija, little flare into left, and Gendel will run this one down. 2 up and 2 down. Fanacam gives you a good look at how players can pull off certain plays, and it's just a cool look.
Yeah,
I think we had it earlier this year. We pretty much logged every position player and every pitcher that was in action during that series. And I know Joe Crawford, who handles the video for the Brewers, he clipped off a lot of those images, and they actually used a lot of this footage as a training tool. And so they're kind enough, Kranitz and Renicky, kind enough to share some of those thoughts with us. Starlin Castro with 2 away has one of the 2 hits tonight. He singled, stole a base, and then had a base running blunder on a little soft line drive to Ramirez. He ran right into the second out for a double play. Little flare. Halton will give it a look, and Halton out of room. Marco's ready to go, waiting on Castro to get in the box. 1-2 the count. And a hard hit ball knocked down. Segura, long throw, and it is in time. Wow. Gene Segura with a beauty. Inning over as Segura comes up with a gem. Taking a hit away from Starlin Castro. famous racing sausages. Chorizo might have jumped the gun a little bit, but check out the Polish. Got the flap down. I don't think the Italian can see tonight. He needs to puff his hat back up. It's right in his vision.
Where's hot dog?
Hot dog is
Another
fatigue.
Weak effort by the hot dog tonight.
He's a soggy dog. Congratulations to Polish. Nori Aoki leads off. First ball swinging. Sends one in the seats. Brewers lead 1-0. Great pitching ball game tonight. Samardzija and Marco Estrada. And Samardzija at this point giving up that run in the second inning. But there was an error in that inning by center fielder Ryan Sweeney that essentially led to the run. That is a fair ball past Rizzo. That's going to get down to the corner. And Aoki can run. And he's on his way to third. Here comes the throw. One hop, the tag, safe.
Close. Real close. What a throw by Starlin Castro. Almost got him at third base. A tremendous throwing on by Starlin Castro, but Nori Aoki gets his triple right out of the batter's box, thinking three. Shearholtz had a little bit of a problem with it in the corner, allowing Aoki to make the attempt, but on the relay throw from Castro, he makes it extremely close to third base. And Nori just does beat it under the tag of Donnie Murphy.
Close play. Bang, bang. The Brewers get the call. Third base umpire Paul Schreiber right there. And a lead-off triple for the Brewers.
And watch this throw into third base. What a peg. That was actually Darwin Barney.
Cubs bring their infield in here. By the way, that is the 42nd triple of the year for the Brewers. They lead the major leagues in that category. And it is the most triples as a team since 1996. Franchise record was set in '83 with 57 triples. Brewers with 42. That's a lot. Well, we'll see if Segura can cash it in. Runner at third, nobody out. Cubs have the infield in. Samardzija can be a strikeout pitcher, and you know he is thinking about a K here, trying to get Segura to chase. He has not, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. Castillo going through every one of his pitches. And he pops him up on the curveball, a 2-0 breaking ball. And out number one with Aoki pinned at third base. Well, those are the kind of at-bats that just frustrate you as a hitter. Got an RBI sitting right there for you, and a lot of ways to get him in.
And Samardzija with the fastball, 92 miles an hour to get it in on his hands. And now it's up to Jonathan Lucroy. Still looking for a fly ball to score a run. And Brewers' only run of the game coming on a sac fly by Gomez.
Lucroy was up in the spot last night, and he struck out. And I'm sure that bothered him. He's one of the best the Brewers have with runners in scoring position. Lucroy has a .299 batting average with runners in scoring position this year. One gone with Aoki at third. Infield still in. Lucroy struck out his last time up. Flew out to right in the first. He's 0 for 2. The Brewers' best run producer this season. Leadoff triple by Aoki. In there for a strike. 1-2 the count now. And now Samardzija in the driver's seat. Bouncing ball to third. Aoki coming home now in a rundown. And tagged at third. Lucroy to second. And this is going to be a double play. And the Brewers run themselves out of an inning. So a runner at third, nobody out. And the Brewers come up empty. Still 1-0 Crew. And a double play to end it. Lottery reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Tuesday night, Miller Park, Milwaukee. Roof is closed tonight. Panels are open, but the roof is closed up. On a cool night, temperatures in the low 50s this evening. As we wind down the 2013 home schedule, Brewers will wrap up this thing here at Miller Park on Sunday. Still a road trip remaining to Atlanta and New York. 7 games on the road starting Monday. Cubs are in for 2 more nights after tonight, and then the Cardinals for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. And make a note that Sunday, if you haven't already, Sunday is a night game, nationally televised game. So a change in the start time Sunday. Don't want you showing up at 9 a.m. to tailgate. Game won't start till 7.
Can't get in anyway, right?
You can hang out in the. Guess you can hang out in the line to get in the parking lot.
Hang out on the freeway, have some fun.
So yeah, 7:05 start, I believe, on Sunday night. And that is a fair ball down the line. Junior Lake off to the races. And he'll pull up at second with a leadoff double. So the Brewers go from having a runner at third and nobody out, a chance to add to their lead. They get nothing, and now the Cubs are threatening to tie it up.
And first time the Cubs have had their leadoff hitter on. Actually, second time. Castro singled to lead off the fourth. A breaking ball, a curve ball that Lake is able to center on and rip down the line. So not the fastball, not the changeup. Third pitch for Marco, and that ends up costing him a leadoff double.
Anthony Rizzo now 0 for 2 tonight. Pulls that one over to Jeanette, and it's an out, but it will advance Junior Lake to third base. So now we'll see if the Cubs can execute with a runner at third and less than 2 outs.
Well, Rizzo's going to get the high fives in that dugout to advance that base runner. He was certainly looking to drive that ball somewhere. Hit it hard, but right at Scooter at second base.
First time the Cubs have had a runner at third base tonight. Marco hasn't had too many base runners to deal with. He hasn't walked anybody, and he's given up just 3 hits. Now the Brewers bring their infield in with Sherholtz at the plate. And a change up in there for a strike. Estrada has racked up 6 Ks tonight. He could use one here. Pitch count is in great shape here in the 7th. One ball, 1 strike on Sherholtz. And he chased one. 1-2.
Change up early. Got the fastball up in the strike zone. What's he going to go with now? Sherholtz had a good swing of that high fastball right there. Fouled it straight back.
Had a 20 homer season this year. Never had more than 9 in a single season prior to. And he does not chase the high fastball this time. Marco just seeing how high he'd go. Junior Lake led off with a double. And a good block by Lucroy. Fill the count 3-2.
Well, you figure that Sherholtz is looking change up. Let's see what Marco is thinking about right here. Maybe that high fastball.
3-2. 1 gone, and Sherholtz lays off. So ball 4. First and third for the Cubs. First time they've had 2 runners on base tonight. Shining moment of the game at this point. It's brought to you by the Marshfield Clinic. And how about this gem by Gene Segura to take a hit away from Starlin Castro.
It kind of highlights every one of his attributes at shortstop. I mean, good quickness, he's got good soft hands, and the throwing arm, certainly enough to get that out. A tremendous play to get Castro in the 6th.
Almost threw that ball through the glove of Sean Holton. Looked like it might have popped a lace in the webbing. Ryan Sweeney with runners at the corners. Brewers are set up to turn 2. They'll try to get out of the inning that way. Marco Estrada, typically a fly ball pitcher. And you wonder if he goes to his offerings that can get a ground ball in this spot. Not normally his strength. Two and 1. Sweeney's only bounced into 2 double plays this season.
He's only got 2 ground ball outs tonight.
So a hitter that doesn't hit into too many ground balls, or at least ground ball double plays, and a pitcher who doesn't give up many ground balls. So I'm sure there's a 4-6-3 double play in there somewhere. 2 and 1. And that one's into right. Coming in Aoki. That's going to be fun here. Late tags. Here's the throw. And the tag is late. Late with a great slide to get to the back of the plate. And just enough of a short hop.
Yeah, did he leave early? I'd say he got there very quickly.
All tied at 1 on a sac fly by Sweeney.
Really playing deep, coming in hard. And here comes the throw. I'd say he got there very fast at junior late. Apparently the Brewers didn't think that he left late. That was an in-between hop that kind of made it difficult on Jonathan Lucroy. Tough ones to handle, those in-between hops.
Well, a great slide there, huh? Great look at it from up above. Didn't give Lucroy much to work with as far as a tagging area. So the Cubs tie it up. 2 gone in the inning now. RBI belongs to Sweeney.
Kind of surprised that Shearholtz didn't go to second base on that throw. That was a high throw all the way to home plate. No chance it was going to get cut off. The Brewers fortunate that Shearholtz didn't get into second base.
Castillo singled sharply in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And that ball's hit hard left field. Gendel turns, and we'll watch this one go out of here. 2-run home run for Wellington Castillo. And a quick strike by the Cubs. A 3-run inning. As of up 3-1 as Castillo bangs out his 8th of the year. And a lot of those are coming lately.
Well, 3rd time through has not been very kind to Marco Estrada. First 2 trips for the Cubs through that batting order. Cubs weren't able to muster a whole lot, but 3rd time through everything has been hit pretty hard. And Castillo looks like he got a changeup up in the strike zone and lined it out of here to left.
Castillo has hit 4 home runs on this road trip. Started in Pittsburgh with 4 games.
And he's hit the ball hard every time up today.
Yep.
That bullet that he hit to Aramis Ramirez his first time up, that was the only out that he's made.
So the Cubs lead at 3-1, and Murphy a 2-1 count. Got some games pushing towards the end tonight. The Padres lead the Pirates again 5-2. Shut them out last night. San Diego up 5-2 in the top of the 9th inning. And St. Louis 8-0 shutting out the Rockies. That game's only in the 3rd inning. Pirates and Cardinals in a first place tie with the Reds 2.5 back. Cincinnati is all over the Astros tonight. 9-0. Top of the 6th inning in Houston. Astros to lose their 100th, as you see this one, and off the second wall, over the fence, and off the State Farm sign. Bangs off that wall. Had some heat on it.
Castillo, one of those guys that we talked about, Anthony Rizzo and Starlin Castro. Castillo, another guy that the Cubs are counting on to be a foundation of this ball club going forward. He's really put together a nice season.
Full count to Murphy, and he flings the bat, a foul bat. I think he got a piece of the baseball for a foul ball.
And something got a piece of Jonathan Lucroy.
That was a tremendous bat fling right there. Good distance.
The foul tip got Luke, I think, down around the leg somewhere, and there goes the hammer throw by Donnie Murphy.
Yes, indeed.
Well done.
Normally the bats aren't as big of a problem as the foul balls, but that was an excellent bat toss. And he got him. Estrada strikes him out. He's barking into his glove as he gives up 3 runs in the 7th. Castillo a 2-run homer to give the Cubs the lead.
Shower and a baby powder shower, and these moments coming courtesy of Brewers rookies. The results of our AT&T Twitter poll: the rookie having the biggest impact is Scooter Gennett, 61% of the vote. Chris Davis also getting a handful of votes at 18%, and Davis limited, but they're hoping to get him back from that wrist injury soon. And Scooter Gennett just continues to make Brewers question what to do at second base with Ricky Weeks on the disabled list. Who will be the second baseman next season, how they'll split that time.
Yeah, good problem to have for the Brewers. They certainly have some options there. See Luis Valbuena taking over at third base as the Cubs tighten up their defense. Ricky Weeks is still under contract next year. He's coming back from a very bad hamstring injury that required surgery. So you got to figure that Weeks is going to be in great shape when he does come back. He's going to have to go through the whole rehab process, and he'll be in the final year of his contract. A right-handed hitter, of course, and Gennett the lefty. You could see a platoon.
Right. And if Scooter hopes to be an everyday player, he's going to have to improve his numbers against lefties.
Chris Davis, by the way, said he is ready to go, and Renicky said the same. But because Gendel is hot at the plate right now, Gendel continues to get the starts. So Davis is available to pinch hit, and he's certainly going to be in the lineup soon. Might see him tomorrow. Samardzija at 95-mile-an-hour heat, and he's been able to maintain that velocity all night tonight. The 3-2 pitch. Cubs scoring 3 in the top of this inning to take a 3-1 lead. Ramirez at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Double, advanced to third on an error, and scored the only Brewers run, which came on a sac fly by Gomez. And Ramirez draws the walk, so there's a good start. Leadoff walk to start the 7th.
Hey, on Friday, the first 20,000 fans, 21 and over, will get a Brewers grilling set courtesy of Potawatomi Bingo Casino. To order tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com. And this will be a fine addition to my backyard barbecue. Did you get yours yet?
No, I haven't.
The grilling
it's a bit of a sore subject.
It's got the basting brush. It's got the tongs and the spatula. It's got Brewers on it. Wooden handle. Nice. Very nice.
I haven't gotten mine. I was told that there were 2 delivered to the booth, so.
You were told wrong.
Pretty reliable source.
But the thing is, I mean, if you got one of these, it would look like this 10 years from now.
That's not true. I am an expert griller at this point.
Is that right?
Yes. I had a little trouble the other day with my grill.
What happened? You lit it?
A lack of use. It didn't quite fire up exactly what I thought it was going to, or how I thought it was going to.
Yeah, well, you know, animals get in there. They build nests in there.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
so I just put it out with the trash.
Messes up the heat source.
Just go buy a new one.
Yeah. That's what you do with everything else, right?
Well, I used to have to use the neighbors all the time, so I've upgraded from that position. You shamed me for that. That was just kind of an emergency, though. Had to walk across the street.
That's the first thing you buy, you know, when you own a house, is a grill.
That's a big league
really
grill right there.
It's really bad form in your position in the community to be wheeling a grill across the street in your backyard.
Had all the grass stuck up in the wheels. It was not a pretty sight. Oh, hey, good play. That's the way you do it. And was able to keep his knees from touching the ground. Oh, no, he's down there. Good job. Which one do you like better, Segura or the bat boy?
Bat boy didn't have to make a throw.
So that's deep into left field. And that is up, and it is gone. Carlos Gomez ties it up on a laser down the left field line. Gomez with number 20. 3-3 ball game. The only question about that one, was it high enough to get over the fence?
Or is it going to be fair? Yeah, Peyton down the line inside the foul pole and sneaks it over the left field wall. Number 20 for Gomez, and it's a big one to tie it up.
What a year.
That lead for the Cubs didn't last long.
First home run since September 1st for Carlos Gomez. Now Scooter Gennett, and that one's in there for a strike.
Split fingered fastball that stayed up in the strike zone. That's not where you want to leave him. And Gomez able to pull the hands in, keep it fair, and whistle it over that left field wall.
20 homers, 36 stolen bases for Gomez this year. Has a chance at a 2040 season. Enters into the 2020 club in franchise history. Power and speed, what a combo.
Yeah.
So the big question for Gomez, is this a great year for him, isolated year, or is this the player he's going to be now that he moves into the prime of his career? Brewers are counting on the fact that this is the player he'll be. They signed him up to a long-term deal. Prior to the season, they would have never been able to sign him to that kind of deal had he waited until the end of this year.
But I think signing that deal gave him the confidence and relaxed him enough to be able to have this kind of year.
I agree with you.
I mean, throughout his career, he's always been a guy that's been given opportunities, but he's always been looking over his shoulder. He's had a few offers. They sit him down and they try to adjust his style and his approach to the plate.
Gennett swings and misses on his way to first. Castillo secures the strikeout. First out of the inning.
But knowing that he's the guy of the future, he's been relaxed. He got off to a bit of a slow start for the first week or so, and ever since that time, he's been very good.
I totally agree with you. I think it's easy to sit back and you have a year like this and you say, and I'm sure he'll get some of this from his peers, but it's easy to say, well, if you'd have just waited, you could have got a huge payday. You could have had a long-term deal that probably doubled up what you had. But Carlos is, from the Dominican Republic. He has a family, has a wife, a child. He's a family man, and he was able to secure his family with that deal he signed. It's still a great contract. I know Aramis Ramirez was instrumental in talking to Gomez and encouraging him to sign the deal. He's still going to have plenty of years left when the deal is up. If he puts up these numbers over the next 4 years, there'll be a massive payday for him if he continues on this pace.
And not that the deal that he currently signed isn't a pretty good one either. I mean, think about it. That's a lot of money.
3-year extension that starts next season for Gomez. And we were there in spring training when that deal was announced, and there was a lot of raised eyebrows. Why sign Carlos Gomez to this kind of deal right now? But you saw the kind of numbers that Michael Bourne got, center fielder who went to the Indians.
Looks like a pretty good deal now for the Brewers, doesn't it? The numbers that he's put up.
Right.
And Gomez is a self-motivator. It's the guys that you're not sure about. The guys that'll coach a little bit when they get the big contract and the big money. Gomez not that kind of guy at all. Just the opposite. The big contract helped him.
Brandon Kinsler getting ready for the 8th. Marco Estrada, after giving up 3, the Brewers get 2 quickly and looking for more here in this 7th inning.
And spit that hook pretty quickly, didn't he? Courtesy of Carlos Gomez.
Kendall down the right field line, foul. I thought that was a great signing, and Doug Melvin deserves a lot of credit. There are a lot of guys who sign a big contract and they feel the pressure of that deal and feel like they have to live up to it, and they don't. And that means you have to know the player, you have to know the personality. And I think most importantly for Gomez, and if you've ever seen him around with his son, and you've seen him with his family, you know it's so important to him to be able to secure his family and make sure they're comfortable and settled. And once he's able to do that, he's played the game relaxed, and he has been a joy to watch this season. That ball rips. Boy, Caleb Gendel turns it around. 95 coming in, at least that going out. And Gendel is aboard with a 1-out single.
Yeah, the definition of buggy whipping a bat through the strike zone. Watch how quick his hands are as this baseball gets into the hitting zone. Everything nice and quiet, and whack right through the hitting zone, and a line drive right over the top of the head of Jeff Samardzija and into center field. Boy, he's got a quick bat. Very quick with the hands.
It's going to bring a visit from Chris Bosio, the former Brewer, current pitching coach of the Cubs. Cubs got Samardzija lead with 3 in the top of the 7th. Brewers come right back. A leadoff walk, a home run by Gomez to tie it, and now a base runner. That is Justin Grimm, who came to the Cubs in that trade with the Rangers for Matt Garza, one of the 3 players who came over to the Cubs. Game summary is brought to you by Toyota. If you're just picking us up, Brewers had a 1-0 lead. It was 3-1 Cubs, and now it's 3-3 as we play in the bottom of the 7th. Castillo and Gomez with 2-run home runs. Here's Sean Holton now.
That's Samardzija. Next pitch is going to be number 100. His last start against Cincinnati, he threw 144 pitches in 5 2/3 innings. Boy, that's a lot of pitches. They left him out there, and he seems to be pretty strong here tonight. Routinely goes over 100 pitches in each and every one of his starts.
That's incredible. 5 2/3.
Yeah, 6 runs, 8 hits, 5 2/3, and a 6-0 loss to Cincinnati. and 144 pitches.
26, 27 pitches an inning. Ball from the Brewers bullpen on the field. No balls and a strike on Sean Halton. Halton with 3 homers in the big leagues. Driven in 11. Power to all fields. He's been a home run hitter throughout his minor league career. Kind of been the other guy coming up through the minor league system, with Hunter Morris taking over the everyday duties at first base this season at AAA. Halton smartly making himself a utility player. So he played a little outfield, he played some third base, trying to be as versatile as he can. His natural position is first. First, he thought Corey Hart had that position locked up for the year. And then with Morris behind him, there's a swing and a miss, and Samardzija strikes him out. The second out of the inning, and Samardzija now with 8 Ks.
Put a little wrinkle in it. He got Halton on a split-fingered fastball his last time up, and here it is again. This time, able to keep it down in the strike zone. He hung one to Gomez, who hit it out of the ballpark.
Ron Renicky will go to his bench. Juan Francisco will bat. So Estrada's night is over. 7 innings, 3 runs. He could win this game if Francisco or someone else puts the Brewers on top. Francisco certainly has the power to do it. Cruising along through 6. Had a shutout going, ran into some trouble in the 7th, giving up 3 runs on 2 hits and a walk. But a good night for Marco again. And cannot lose this game.
Another good start by the Brewers rotation. And a very good start to the month of September for the Brewers starters. 11 of 14 have been quality starts.
In the air to center, off the end of the bat. And the side retired. Well, we started our night with Corbin Thomas narrating a feature on Gomez, a harbinger of things to come.
Always smiling, Gogo's enthusiasm for the game has made him a Brewer fan favorite. You never know what he's going to do next. Carlos Gomez, Milwaukee Brewer All-Star.
Park. Carlos Gomez with a 2-run home run to tie it up. His 20th homer of the season. And Ron Renick's going to give the ball to Brandon Kensler, his setup man, and something you can afford to do at home in a tie game. Kensler will get the 8th.
And tossed a perfect inning in last night's ball game in the win against the Chicago Cubs. Has posted a 2.34 earned run average over his last 52 appearances. Got off to a rough start at 584 early on, now down to 296.
Kensler will face Darwin Barney to start it. Cubs will have a pinch hitter after that, and then back to the top of the order. And then looking ahead to the Brewers' bottom of the 8th inning. Top of the order coming up there with Aoki, Segura, and Lucroy. Well, been a good game tonight. Brewers had the early lead. Cubs went on top of the 7th, and then Brewers come back to tie it quickly. Estrada goes 7, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks. And Samardzija with 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 8 Ks. Little flare off the bat of Barney. Halton is there, out number 1. Kensler, one of the bright spots this season. And you get to the finish line and think about who elevated their stock in the organization. Brandon Kensler, maybe as much as anyone. Pitching an early middle relief to start the year. The guy to get out of early jams with that power sinker.
There haven't been too many guys in that Brewers bullpen that have been more dependable than Brandon Kensler throughout the entire season. From the beginning of the year to right now, he's been very good.
Tiana Navarro will pinch hit, and a swing and a miss. Cubs have Pedro Strop, who came to Chicago from the Orioles in the Scott Feldman deal. He'll have the bottom of the 8th inning. So Samardzija's night is done. Both starters go 7. Neither. Well, I guess Samardzija could still win this game if the Cubs take the lead. But at this moment, both with no decisions.
Not a bad outing for Samardzija after 3 very poor outings. And Navarro, the best pinch hitter that Dale Swaim has on his bench. He's got a couple of pinch hit home runs this year. And 7 for 27.
Hit hard in the gap. Gomez cannot get there. That'll be extras. Gomez plays it quickly, and Navarro into second base with a 1-out double.
And he continues to swing the bat well off the bench. You figure a pinch runner now for Navarro. That's the go-ahead run at second. It takes that Kensler sinker that's trying to get away from him, and he drives it out there into center field, slicing away from Gomez as it gets out to the wall. And a 1-out double. And the Cubs have a couple of shots to go ahead with the top of the order coming up.
Pinch runner Logan Watkins. So Navarro is out after the double, and speed on the bags for the Cubs for Starlin Castro. Go ahead run at second base. Castro singled, stole a base in the 4th inning. He's 1 out of 3. Was robbed of a hit by Segura in the 6th. Two and 0. And Lucroy's on his way out.
A dangerous pitch to a very good hitter. Castro's hit the ball hard every time up tonight. 2-0 pitch. You know he's going to be sitting fastball, and we've already seen how good he is at centering on that fastball. Hit the ball hard against Marco Estrada.
Big pitch coming for Kinsler, the 2-0, and he fouls it away. He didn't mean to. It's been a season to forget for Starlin Castro. Looked like one of the premier young hitters in the game. Still so young. Two and one to Castro. And he fouls it away.
It just eats him up inside with that good moving fastball. Every time Castro's hit the ball hard tonight, it's been on a pitch that's out away from him, middle away. Kinsler attacking him inside.
Castro made his big league debut at the age of 20. He's already been in the league 4 years. Played in all 162 games last year. He led the National League in hits 2 years ago at 207 hits, and he's been an all-star twice already. Batting average down 40 points from a year ago, and it was down 20 points from his second season. His first 2 years in the big leagues, Castro hit 300. 283 last year, and he comes in tonight at 241.
All those great numbers offensively at such a young age. Still growing through some growing pains, loses focus from time to time. That's why Dale Swaim's had to bench him a few times this year. Trying to get his head right.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat, and Segura ranging over. No play there. They had Castro to pull. That'll be an infield hit. They just hit it in a perfect spot.
Didn't hit it very well, but as you said, put it in a spot where it made a very difficult play for Segura up the middle. You could see where he's playing a little bit to pull. Has a long way to go, and by the time he gets to it, he loses his footing. Not sure if we would have been able to get him anyway. Kinsler jams him again. The Brewers not able to make the play on him.
So it's first and third with 1 away. And no chance for Segura. Here is Junior Lake. And there's strike 1. He's a tough guy to double up. Lake runs well. We saw that as he scored on that shallow fly ball to right back in the 7th inning.
Tough guy to double up, but he does strike out a lot.
Castro has a steal tonight. Wonder if he'd be running in a spot like this. This is a spot where Lucroy becomes so important for Kinsler. Lake is a guy who will chase sliders in the dirt, but you've got a runner at third base now. You got to trust your catcher to block those pitches. And Kinsler has a good slider. Watkins, the pinch runner, has started with a Navarro double with 1 out, a pinch hitter. Watkins ran for him. 3-3 game, 8th inning with the Cubs threatening. Big cut.
That's where you want to pitch him, upstairs. Well, he takes a mighty hack. And get that ball down a little bit. He's going to hit it pretty hard, but up there, up around the belt and above, has a difficult time making contact.
Out of the Dominican Republic, Junior Lake. Converted to the outfield a couple of seasons ago with the Cubs. The 1-2 pitch and a called strike 3. Watched it go by. 93-mile-an-hour heat with something on it, and Lake is gone.
Right on the inside corner. Wasn't looking for that pitch. Like perfect. And Lucroy holds it right there for him. Good pitch. Swung and a miss on a pitch up in the strike zone. That one down and in, and he gets the call for the strikeout.
And 2 gone. And now Kinsler will face the left-handed power hitter Rizzo. Part of what has made Kinsler so effective this year is his ability to use the changeup against lefties, and he's thrown a lot of them.
I'm not sure how many he's thrown in situations like this, though.
Yeah, we'll find out how much confidence he has, right? There's a little broken bat on a hop to Segura. Throw to first is just in time. Inning over, and Kinsler strands a pair. Still tied at 3. Brewers coming up.
As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Miller Park, Jerry and I getting set for Brewers Live postgame coming up after the ball game. How about that job that Brandon Kinsler, big fight through that 8th inning, but he got through.
Well,
it.
He's been dependable so all year long in the way he's been throwing the ball. He got himself in trouble. The one thing he does, he throws strikes, he gets ahead of it, commands the strike zone. Did it that inning.
Yeah, he's come a long way this season, no question about that. And he's gotten a little help, this Brewer pitching staff did, from Carlos Gomez tonight. Our Wisconsin Powerball home run count for Gomez. This liner right down the left field line, so his home run count is at 20 right now to lead the Brew Crew. First one to 20 on the season for Gomez. That big 2-run pop in the 7th inning to tie this game at 3-3. That's where we sit right now. We'll check in with the Brewer clubhouse and Ron Renneke, plus our instructional. The Rock's going to join us on the set. We're going to talk pitching coming up after the ball game on Brewers Live, right?
All right, Craig and Augie, thank you. Looking forward to Brewers Live. We'll see if the Brewers can make it a good news Brewers Live tonight. Nori Aoki will lead off. Milwaukee at the top of their order. And with Samardzija out, the Cubs go to their pin, Pedro Strop.
And a big time fastball for Strop. Last pitch on the 15th. A couple of days ago against the Pirates, gave up a run in an inning of work. But 97 with a little bit of movement on it for Strop. 32nd appearance for the right-hander for Chicago at 3.03 earned run average. He's only allowed the 1 home run this year.
High fly ball, right center field. Long run. Sherholtz will make the play. Aoki gave it a ride, but 1 gone.
Well, he's been flexing his muscles tonight. A couple long foul balls and his first at bat tonight.
That'll bring up Gene Segura now. Pedro Strop started his season with the Orioles at an ERA over 7 in 29 games with Baltimore. Command was at the heart of the issue for Strop with the Orioles. But a big arm, something that the Cubs felt like they could work with.
It usually is when you have a 7 earned run average. You throw 98 miles an hour. Walks are usually involved in your problems.
Think about how great that Orioles bullpen was last year. Strop was a part of that. Traded from the Rangers to the Orioles in 2011. One of the more famous deals, or one of the big trades between the Rangers and the Orioles. Mike Gonzalez was part of that deal. He was the player to be named later. The Brewers' Mike Gonzalez. Strop went to Baltimore. Came with Jake Arrieta to the Cubs in the Scott Feldman deal this year.
A good guy to have on the bases, whether it's a hit or a walk. Segura had good speed, a base steal, although he has been thrown out once tonight. And ball 4, stolen base hit for Lucroy, and bring on Henderson. Is that a pretty good plan?
Or maybe Segura just hits one over the fence.
That'd be good too.
It's been a while since he homered last. Got to go back to late July. Jim Henderson.
And he's coming in regardless, either with a lead or a tie game.
Segura setting on 12 home runs. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He's made a couple of beautiful plays defensively. Pretty good bet he's going to get a fastball here. And the 3-1 up, swing and a miss. 97.
Just such an easy delivery from Strop, and that ball just explodes out of his hand. A bit of a funky delivery, hides the ball, kind of herky-jerky, and comes right at you.
Easy cheese, they say. In the air to center field. Back goes Sweeney. And he has room. Long fly ball out to start this inning. 2 up, 2 down as we check in with Sophia.
Brian, this Sunday, September 22nd, is the Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Game. Bring last month's Time Warner Cable billing statement to the Miller Park box office for a buy one, get one free terrace ticket offer. And again, that will be the last Miller Park home game of the season. So as if you needed another reason to come on out.
And don't forget, it's Sunday night. The game time has changed to accommodate national television. So that'll be a 7 p.m. start Sunday night, the last home game of the year. Base is empty, 2 outs for Jonathan Lucroy. Starts him with a hook, and it's in there for a strike. Three game, bottom of the 8th. Brewers tied it on that 2-run homer by Gomez in the 7th. Padres beat the Pirates tonight 5-2. They have taken the first 2 games in that series. St. Louis leads Colorado 10-0. So it looks like the Cardinals are going to be back in first, barring a big comeback. You never know at Coors Field.
That's a big lead, though, partner. 10-zip.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? It's what we have tomorrow night. Chris Russin, the lefty, against Tyler Thornburg. One of the 6. He's pitched so well, he has created a 6-man rotation.
Well, off-speed pitches for Thornburg have been good. Talking about change-ups, he's had a good one.
And Lucroy chases. So down it goes. Strop retires the side in order. And we're all tied at 3 heading to the 9th. Well, here we go to the 9th, and all-star Carlos Gomez been a big part of this one tonight. Gomez with his 20th home run of the season, and he has all 3 runs batted in for the Brew Crew tonight. And that 2-run homer tied it in the 7th. That's where we are as we go to the 9th. Jim Henderson on to try to get this one to the bottom of the 9th. Tied at 3.
Yeah, came into a tie game on Sunday against the Reds. Picked up win number 4. Just a scoreless inning. A couple of strikeouts, and Ron Renicky hoping for the same here on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee.
The 30-year-old Canadian Jim Henderson from Calgary. Worked out during the NHL lockout this offseason with some members of the Calgary Flames. Said he got in the best shape of his life. That won't be available to him this offseason, so he is moving to Phoenix.
Work out with the Coyotes.
Yes, that's one of the main reasons. He won't be working out with him. He's going to be going to many games, he said. And working on his tan. He's done a great job as the Brewers closer. Nate Scherholtz leads away, and a line drive into the gap. That's going to go to the wall. No, Gomez able to cut it off. Scherholtz into second with a double. Well, Gomez did a good job to cut that ball off. Scherholtz was thinking about a triple when it left the bat. It's a big runner to keep at second base.
Yeah, those left center, right center field gaps get mighty small with Gomez in center field. And talking about centering on a big fastball, Henderson with a fastball up in the zone. Scherholtz gets on top of it and hits one hard into the gap. A leadoff double for the Cubs.
So the Cubs with the go-ahead run in scoring position here in the ninth. And here is Ryan Sweeney. Henderson has had his struggles with left-handed hitting, but that's in context of a really good year as the closer. When he does give up runs, when there is damage, it's typically to left-handed batters. He's a two-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider. And he powers that one right by Sweeney at 96, and it's 0-2.
And a lot of times when left-handed batters, hit him hard, it's a slider, but not with Scherholtz. Scherholtz picked on a fastball up in the zone.
Cubs have one hit with a runner in scoring position. That was the home run by Castillo. 0-2 the count. Got him. Up the ladder with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and out number one.
And 3 pitches and see you later. And no mystery to the approach right there for Henderson. One fastball after another and gets him swinging. That's a big out. Sweeney not able to advance the base runner.
That brings up Castillo, who has 2 hits and 3 hard hit balls tonight. He scalded one over to Ramirez in the second.
And he's a very good fastball hitter. You can't throw it too hard for him.
8 home runs on the year, 4 of those coming on this road trip for the Cubs. And his home run in the 7th gave the Cubs the lead. It's 2 out of 3 tonight. Missing badly with the slider.
A couple of sliders, knowing that Castillo likes that fastball.
It's a good play by Lucroy. That was not an easy pick out there. Not even one you could block. He had to reach out and pick the short hop. That keeps the runner at second. Inning changes a little bit if that gets by him.
Yeah.
Cubs have a runner at third and 1 out. It probably forces the infield in. 2-0. Oh, fastball right down the middle, and Castillo missed it.
Down the middle and about mid-thigh. That's a good pitch to hit. Ooh.
Something about Henderson's fastball.
It's his delivery. Kind of an unusual delivery, the way he kind of winds that arm around his back and then he comes to home plate, hides it well, slings it to home plate.
2 balls and a strike. Another fastball bounced over to third. Fair ball. Ramirez looks the runner back, and a good throw to get out number 2. So Henderson down 2-0 against a fastball hitter, comes back to get him.
He's trying not to follow that ball around his back. He hides it. You see the way he closes that shoulder. Arm goes behind his back, almost towards first base, and then it all of a sudden appears, and right-handed batters will tell you that they have a difficult time picking it up quickly. Hides it, and he throws it about 97. That doesn't hurt him either.
Luis Valbuena batting for the first time. Came in defensively to start the 7th inning. He is typically the Cubs' everyday third baseman. Tonight, Donnie Murphy got the call to start the game, but Valbuena is in there with the go-ahead run at second. Can't be an easy job. Sit on the bench all day, and your first at bat against Jim Henderson, bringing the heat. Sure holds double to start the inning. Henderson trying to leave him right there. By him. 0-2 to count. 98 that time from Henderson.
And here it is. Hit it. This is my best. See what you got. And he swings and misses. Nothing tricky about that approach.
Oh, and 2. And Valbuena takes ball 1. Brewers will have Aramis Ramirez lead off the 9th inning. Gomez to follow, then Scooter Gennett. Going to be a final at-bat win for someone tonight. One and 2. Sherholtz with a short lead at second. And Valbuena stays alive. Nothing but fastballs from Henderson at this point. And he's one of the few guys that can just get away with a fastball.
Yeah.
There was a game earlier this year. He had a 4-out save against the Giants. He threw 25 consecutive fastballs through the 4 outs. Never threw an off-speed pitch.
Yeah. That's that delivery. Sneaky delivery.
It's his bread and butter. Valbuena knows it. 1 and 2. Here it comes. And a fastball high and away. 2 and 2. Haven't been a whole lot of base runners tonight. But the Cubs have done some damage in the last 3 innings. And 3 batters reach in the 7th. They scored 3 runs. 2 hits in the 8th. Left a pair. And a leadoff double here in the 9th. The 2-2. 3 and 2. 15 pitches in this inning for Henderson. 13 of those fastballs at 95 or better. Can't imagine he'd throw anything else at this point.
No, it's coming. You get one eye in that on-deck circle. You got Darwin Barney, pretty good contact hitter. This is the guy you want right here.
Payoff pitch and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. The high heat. Valbuena couldn't lay off Henderson with a couple of Ks. Aramis Ramirez the lead off, and then Carlos Gomez if they get to him. He's driven in all 3 tonight.
Bottom of the ninth coming up. And Packers fans, do you have questions about the Packers after 2 games and with the Bengals up next? Submit them to your FoxSportsWisconsin.com mailbag and look for Paul Immig's answers on Thursday. BA?
All right, Sophia, thanks. Headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Brewers and the Cubs all tied up. And Justin Grimm, traded from the Rangers to the Cubs in the Matt Garza deal, will be on the mound here in this 9th inning, his 7th appearance. And a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Well, the Brewers had a walk-off homer on Sunday against Cincinnati from Sean Halton. And a chance to walk off the Cubs here tonight. Ramirez will get the first crack at Justin Grimm. He's had 6 walk-off home runs in his career. Has not had one this season. Been an injury-plagued season for Ramirez. Twice on the DL. But he has his power back lately. He's had 4 homers in the last month, and after 2 stints on the disabled list with that left knee injury, feeling like his old self once again, he said. Starting to drive the ball.
And drive it to the opposite field. There's double tonight into right center. It's always a good barometer for every hitter when they start driving the ball to the opposite field. You know they're staying back, seeing it well. Another hard thrower out of that Cubs bullpen. You know, Justin Grimm. Last pitched on the 15th against the Pirates. A scoreless inning.
Two and one. Ramirez takes a ball. 3-1. Grimm standing on the mound posing, wanting a strike call there. Didn't miss by much.
Wanted that outside corner. Pretty close.
Yeah, just off the plate according to Fox Tracks. Now Ramirez in the driver's seat, and he takes a rip, cuts right through it. 3-2.
Trying for that walk-off homer, wasn't he? Three and one. Fastball. Knew he was going to get it, but a little bit behind.
And the payoff from Grimm. Outside, ball 4. Leadoff base runner.
Get a pinch runner now. Who's it going to be? Bianchi?
Ramirez still hobbled, so Renicky will make that move. Bianchi indeed. Very fast runner.
Let him pinch run. If the Brewers don't score, you put him over at third base.
Take you back to the 7th. Cubs had a 3-1 lead before Gomez hit a laser just over the fence, just inside the foul pole. Home run number 20 for Gomez. There's only one other player in the big leagues with at least 15 homers and 35 steals. That is Alex Rios, now of the Rangers. Gomez with 20 homers, 36 stolen bases. And he's got a chance to turn a good night into a great night. He's driven in 3. He's 1 for 2 at the plate with a 2-run home run. Had a sac fly in the 2nd.
Outfield very deep for the Cubs. Junior leg just about at the warning track. It'll be tough for Bianchi to score on anything that stays in the ballpark.
And a little tapper. That's a foul ball.
Yeah, Grimm looks like a guy you could run on with that high leg kick. Well, just behind home plate. If it's right on top of the plate, it's fair. Doesn't matter where it bounces first. If it bounces forward, it's a fair ball. Pretty close.
No balls and a strike on Gomez. And he takes ball one. Grimm had been a starter with the Rangers. Made 17 starts with Texas, had an ERA over 6. Traded to the Cubs, and they immediately made him a reliever into AAA first. And that ball's hit hard into center field, a base hit. Carlos Gomez continues his good night. And the Brewers with 2 on now. The winning run is in scoring position.
Dale Swaim does not have a left-hander getting loose, and here comes Jeanette, followed by Gindel. Very surprising that the Cubs don't have a lefty up. They've got 3 down there in the bullpen. A fastball to Gomez up in the zone, able to center on it and hit it into center field. So first and second, nobody out. And you would expect Scooter Jeanette to be up there to bunt. Good start to the 9th. But nobody getting loose in that Cubs bullpen. I wonder why.
Dale Swaim made a number of pitching changes last night. Used 5 relievers last night in a 6-1 Brewers win. Scooter Jeanette got a couple of sacks this year. Has bunted for a couple of hits as well. He is a good bunter. Been a leadoff hitter most of his professional career, even back to his amateur days in high school. Hit leadoff. Looking to advance him here. Nobody out. First and second in the 9th. And he squares and bunts right through it. Looked like he was trying to bunt for a hit.
Now you want to bunt toward third base to make Valbuena leave the bag. He's been very good against righties and not so good against left-handers, and that's why it's surprising that you don't see a left-hander out on the mound right now.
Great speed on the bases. Bianchi at second, Gomez at first. 3-3 game. Winning run at second base. Cubs cheating in on the corners. And Jeanette squares, drops it down, foul. And it's 0-2. So now what do you do if you're Ron Renicky? Do you ask him to bunt with 2 strikes?
Yep, keep the bunt on. Yep.
Renicky is barking at Jeanette.
It looks like he's bunting more for a base hit. He's got that bat back a little bit. You got to have it out in front. Give yourself a better angle. Keep it out in front. That's just what we were talking about.
Yeah, get it in front of the plate. Bunt in front of the plate, he says. I'm not sure if he was. I don't know if Jeanette was looking at him. I know he was communicating with Ed Cedar or one of them. Somebody had to get that message.
I don't think that he was telling Ed Cedar how to bunt.
Telling Ed Cedar to tell Scooter Jeanette, I mean. Ed just walked down there.
And he knows how to bunt.
He's a fine bunter.
Yes, he is.
All right, we'll see if it's on. No balls, 2 strikes. He squares and he bunts one back to the mound. And Grimm bobbles and the throw is late. Everybody's safe.
Well, the Cubs just continue to kick the ball around in this series. Grimm thought he had to play at third base, which he probably did if he picks it up right away. Jeanette bunts it too hard. Grimm trying to be too quick, and because of that he drops it and does not get anybody. So the base is loaded with nobody out. Not exactly ideal technique for Jeanette on the sacrifice bunt, but it works out.
Well, Jeanette had the pressure on to put it in play, put it right back to the mound. with Bianchi speed, there was no chance. Grimm gets him at third base, and once he hesitated, Jeanette, who runs well, safe at first. Sacrifice and an error on the pitcher Grimm, and the Cubs with 2 errors tonight. And with the bases loaded and nobody out, Chris Bosio out to have a chat with Grimm.
Yeah, not sure what this might be about. Maybe talking about the squeeze, but I don't see it happening with nobody out and the bases loaded. Jeanette's, or I should say, Gindle's been swinging it well. Well, a walk, a base hit, and an error. It's kind of the way the series has gone for the Cubs.
Now, Gendel had a big day yesterday. 3 hits, drove in 3 runs.
Still can't figure out why the Cubs don't have a left-hander.
And this is the stretch where typically you see lefties. Swain did it yesterday. He rolled the left-handers out against Jeanette and Gendel. Not tonight. That walk-off hit was a home run for Gendel back in July against the Marlins. A lot of ways to get the run home here. The infield is in for the Cubs. The outfield is in for the Cubs. Got great speed at third base in Bianchi. Inside, ball 2. And Grimm in a hole here, 2-0, and nowhere to put Gendel. Gendel pops up in the infield. Yikes. Infield fly roll. And the first out on a 2-0 pitch. Gendel got jammed.
That's a big out. Now a ground ball might get the Cubs out of the inning. Cubs still might draw the infield in. Got in on his hands. It looked like it might have been ball 3, and Gendel pops it straight up.
And with no activity in the bullpen, Renicky confident putting Logan Schaefer in the game, another left-handed hitter.
This might where you want to see a squeeze in this situation, although a squeeze with the bases loaded a little bit more difficult because it's not a tag play at home plate. A little bit easier to make a play defensively.
Schaefer is a good bunter. Infield in. 1 gone, 9th inning. Game on the line here as Schaefer takes a strike. Schaefer's never had a walk-off hit. So many rookies on the team. We've seen a lot of firsts in that category, including Gendel and Sean Halton. Schaefer looking for his moment. One and one. Chris Davis is on deck. Brewers have the winning run at third. And the 1-1 squeeze is on. Schaefer gets it down, and the ball game is over. Logan Schaefer on the suicide squeeze gives the Brewers the win. 4-3 Milwaukee. His first walk-off in the big leagues is just a little old bunt, and it worked to perfection.
Like a base hit. Perfectly timed. You can see Bianchi taking off at the perfect spot. Schaefer had a good pitch to bunt, and game over. Brewers able to execute. The Cubs were not. And an easy run to win the ball game.
Good one tonight for the Brewers. They continue their dominance over the Cubs this year, and the suicide squeeze. Exciting finish tonight. Sophia is standing by with Logan Schaefer.
Thanks, Brian. And Logan, you come in with the pinch hit. How difficult is it to execute that suicide squeeze in that situation?
You're just trying to get it down. I have speed over at third base, and the thing I was just concentrating on is getting it down infield grass, and I know Bianchi was going to get there.
What was just the toughest part coming off the bench into that, a situation with the game on the line?
There's nothing tough about that. I mean, the pressure's on the pitcher. I was out there having fun, having a good time. I was pretty confident. So, when I saw the sun, I knew what I had to do, and, I just got it done.
Big moments for rookies this homestand. Halton, Gindel, now you. What's it like for all of you guys to contribute late in the season?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's a lot of fun. We all can play, and it's fun when you have the opportunity to show it. And lately we've come up with some big hits and big moments, so it's been fun.
All right, thanks, Logan, for your time. And, Brian, the rookies coming up strong this homestand. Logan Schaefer, his night tonight.
Yeah, 1 of the 12 and a suicide squeeze. And it's a winner for the Brewers tonight in walk-off style. Brewers 4-3 over the Cubs. Jim Henderson picks up the win, beating Justin Grimm. Stay with us now. Brewers Live coming up right after the turn.